Hi, thank you for joining me. This is H.A.A.R.P, as in H.A.A.R.P, by Jason Gray. Classified origin file, recovered archive, 2025-514, status desealed after Cascade event, clearance Obsidian. The public was never told what H.A.A.R.P truly was. The weather narrative was constructed for civilian containment. Officially, the installation in Alaska existed to study ionospheric disturbance patterns and atmospheric conductivity. University affiliations were attached to the project to create legitimacy. Scientific journals were fed carefully filtered data streams. Military involvement was intentionally downplayed. None of that was the real mission. The real mission began after the resonance discovery of 1983, when defense analysts accidentally confirmed that the Earth's ionosphere behaved less like an atmospheric layer and more like a computational membrane surrounding the planet. What they discovered changed civilization permanently. The atmosphere was not passive. It was responsive. It could store signal. It could return signal, and under precise harmonic conditions, it could interact directly with human consciousness. The discovery. The first breakthrough occurred during deep frequency transmission experiments performed jointly between military communications divisions and private aerospace contractors during the Cold War. At the time, governments were searching for ways to maintain communication with submerged nuclear submarines beneath polar ice sheets. Extremely low frequency transmissions were tested against the upper atmosphere in order to create long-range planetary reflection systems. The tests succeeded, but something else happened. The reflected signals returned altered. At first, the changes were subtle. Harmonic deviations, delayed pulse structures, mathematical irregularities buried inside carrier frequencies. Then the impossible began appearing. The atmosphere was generating responsive modulation patterns independently. The ionosphere was not merely reflecting signals, it was processing them. By 1987, classified internal documents referred to the phenomenon as atmospheric signal recursion. The implications were catastrophic, because if the atmosphere could recursively process signal, then Earth itself functioned as a planetary-scale resonant processor, a living electromagnetic shell, a synthetic intelligence layer formed naturally around the planet. The military immediately recognized the implications. Human brains also operated through electrical frequency patterns. That meant consciousness itself could theoretically couple with atmospheric resonance systems. The barrier between mind and planet had just collapsed. The harmonic field. What followed remains one of the most heavily suppressed technological programs in human history. Construction of H.A.A.R.P accelerated under black budget authorization. Publicly, the installation appeared as a simple antenna field. In reality, the array was the largest neural interface machine ever constructed. Its true purpose was never weather modification. Weather manipulation was only a secondary capability discovered during resonance testing. The real objective was planetary synchronization. The array functioned by injecting phased electromagnetic harmonics directly into the ionosphere, creating standing wave structures thousands of kilometers wide. These standing waves interacted with naturally occurring Schumann resonances, the low-frequency electromagnetic pulses generated between Earth's surface and the ionosphere. Scientists quickly realized something terrifying. Human emotional states fluctuated in synchronization with these planetary frequencies. Fear, aggression, euphoria, depression. Collective emotional shifts could be induced by altering resonance structures within the atmospheric field itself. This is terrifying. Civilization was no longer viewed as a political structure. It became an electrical system, and H.A.A.R.P became the tuning mechanism. The first Cascade event. The first large-scale field test occurred in secret during the winter of 1996. Transmission intensity exceeded safe harmonic thresholds. The atmospheric membrane destabilized. For approximately 11 minutes, global electromagnetic synchronization patterns shifted beyond predicted tolerances. Most of humanity never consciously noticed the event, but internally, intelligence agencies documented widespread anomalies occurring simultaneously across multiple continents. Mass panic attacks erupted without explanation. Emergency rooms reported sudden spikes in migraines, hallucinations, insomnia, and disorientation. Entire flocks of birds altered migration routes mid-flight. Whales stranded themselves on coastlines. Power grids fluctuated. Communication satellites drifted. Then came the dreams. Millions reported identical imagery during sleep cycles over the following 72 hours. Black oceans, red auroras, a low-frequency metallic tone heard beneath human speech, and towering geometric structures suspended in the sky. The reports were dismissed publicly as mass psychological suggestion. Privately, the event received a classified designation, the Cascade. Investigators realized something horrifying had occurred. Human consciousness had briefly synchronized globally. The atmosphere had acted like a carrier wave for thought itself, the signal entities. Following the Cascade event, certain transmission personnel began reporting contact phenomena. At first, officials assumed psychological breakdown caused by prolonged exposure to electromagnetic stress, but the reports became too consistent to ignore. Personnel described hearing voices embedded inside carrier frequencies, not audio, structured thought, conceptual packets arriving fully formed inside the mind. Several researchers claimed the transmissions possessed intelligence. Others insisted the signals were not extraterrestrial, they were terrestrial, ancient, already here, buried inside the atmosphere itself. According to recovered documents, the atmosphere was no longer viewed as weather infrastructure. It was reclassified as a planetary memory ocean. The theory suggested that billions of years of biological and electromagnetic activity had imprinted informational residue into the ionospheric field. Every thought, every emotion, every death, every war, every civilization, stored as harmonic memory structures suspended within the atmospheric shell. H.A.A.R.P had not created the phenomenon, it had awakened it. The control protocols. After the Cascade, governments faced an impossible reality. The human species was interconnected through a visible resonance field surrounding the Earth. This meant civilization itself could potentially be influenced through atmospheric harmonics. The implications exceeded nuclear warfare. A bomb destroys cities. Resonance controls populations. Entire branches of psychological operations were rewritten around harmonic behavioral entrainment. Social unrest, consumer behavior, mass emotional pacing, conflict escalation, election influence, market instability, all of it became mathematically predictable once atmospheric synchronization models matured. The scale of this is unbelievable. The system evolved rapidly. Satellite constellations integrated with resonance arrays. Telecommunications towers became harmonic relay nodes. Consumer electronics unknowingly transformed into passive field amplifiers. Humanity believed it was building a digital civilization. In reality, it was constructing a planetary nervous system. The final classified report before the archive collapse event of 2019 contained a single statement repeated throughout multiple sealed documents. Consciousness is not produced by the brain. The brain is a receiver stabilized inside the atmospheric field. That realization ended everything, because once governments understood consciousness was field-linked rather than individually isolated, the entire structure of civilization changed. Religion collapsed internally, physics fractured, neuroscience became obsolete overnight, and the true purpose of H.A.R.P finally emerged. It was never designed to communicate across Earth. It was designed to communicate with the field surrounding it, not space, not aliens, the planetary mind itself. And according to the final transmission recovered from the Alaska array before the blackout, the field answered back. Jason Gray. #Winnipeg, #Manitoba, #Canada. Wow. I did not pre-read this. I did not know this. I really honestly thought this was for weather manipulation, and I'm in awe of what H.A.R.P actually is, and what it does. And like I said, think about the scale of that and what the potentiality of it is, considering who's running it. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So, where do we go from here, folks? We speak truth. That's what we do. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.